His alma mater football team won the championship. Yeah. And his dog was hit by a car. Give it up for Brian Aldridge.
Thank you all for that medium amount of applause. That was absolutely beautiful. How about one more real nice round of applause? Both of those things he said are true. My dog's fine. He got hit a little bit, and my college, like they were the worst football team ever. Here's how bad they were at football. I played for Indiana University in the late 1900s. That's how bad at football they are. I really did. And then my dog's fine. He just got over it. I don't know why he threw that in there, but that's pretty funny. I was like, oh, okay, he told them all that. Let's start. Whenever I do a Florida show, I always ask the audience just to know who I'm working with. Who lives here in Florida all the time? Like not 6 months in one day. Like who lives here all the time? Some of us. And then there's snowbirds, I would imagine. And then, okay, so, but you still live. We all live here. It's Florida. We get the gist of it. Like, I am a resident now. I live in Florida. Thank you for having me, guys. That's mixed response all the time. Sometimes it's like, oh, welcome. And then sometimes it's like, there's still time for you to move back to your shithole city, buddy, if you don't mind. It's not like I just got here. I've lived here over 5 years. So that's 5 hurricane seasons. Like I've done my time. And I try to fit in. I try to be like a guy from Florida. Like I yell at people. I'm like, take your ass back to New York. Like I do that and shit. Right? And I think every Cuban person's Mexican too. Just like you guys. And you would think I could tell the difference between a Cuban person and a Mexican person. Because my wife is Mexican. Or maybe she's Cuban, right? I don't know if I should. One of the brown ones for sure. I know that. Here's how I'd like to begin. I do quick jokes, like just set up punchline quick, and then just try to build some momentum, and then we go on to longer stories. But if the quick jokes don't build any momentum, don't worry. I got an audience participation bit sitting in my back pocket. So no matter what, we're going to be off and running in the next 2 minutes. When I was a much younger man, like in my 20s, whenever I would take a woman on that very first date, I'd always ask her if she felt comfortable chipping in to pay for her own food. Not because I'm cheap and I don't want to pay. I don't want the first date. We're sitting across from each other. She thinks I'm expecting some action just because I bought her that dinner. But if the date went well and we did end up having sex, I would reimburse her for that dinner. It's a pretty good policy, right? You just gotta keep the receipt, because without a receipt, store credit is the best I can offer at that point. And that is definitely minor. Let's not mess around. Let's not gamble. Let's get right into the audience participation bits. I just ask you a question, and if you know the answer, just yell it out from your seat. Be enthusiastic about it. We'll get crazy in here. Imagine you're at the beach, right? Now, maybe one of these beautiful beaches on the Gulf of America. I use that to judge which jokes to do later. You see that? I know what I'm doing. You're at the beach, and a jellyfish stings one of your friends. What would you do? Pee on him, right? Your friend, though, right? Not the jellyfish. Like, get over here, jellyfish. Like, that's just revenge. That won't help anybody. Pee on them. They stop hurting. We know that for sure. We don't know where we learned it, but we know it for sure. But how did the first guy know that was going to work? That's a hell of a gamble. His buddy's just laying in the sand like, oh my God, the jellyfish. And he runs up, all confident, like, hear me out. Now, is that joke stupid? Yes. That joke's very stupid, but I was public schooled, so I'm a moron. Who went to a public school? Yeah? What did you learn? Nothing is the number one answer. We learned enough. We all got here. Like, you know what I learned in my fancy public school? Roman numerals. I, V, X. Thank God we shut down third grade for a week. So learn Roman numerals, right? Thank God, because at least now I'll know which Super Bowl I'm watching on TV. And that's very important in America. And which Rocky movie is coming on TV later. You don't want to sit through V again. That one was garbage. I won't argue with you. That one was terrible. Now, public schools teach kids anatomy, young, in health class. My best friend has a 10-year-old son. That boy knows the complete anatomy of a male and female body. When I was 10 years old, I didn't know what a fallopian tube was. I'll be perfectly honest, I don't know what a fallopian tube is right now. I just know I probably don't have one. And that's not my fault, because fallopian tube sounds like a fun slide at a water park. And you could trick me with a pretty good commercial. Like, come on out to the water park and slide the fallopian tube. And you're like, I gotta do that. I'll buy a ticket. I would slide head first down that one. That's how you're born. I didn't get to learn about this kind of stuff in a classroom where I could ask the teacher questions. I had to learn about this stuff the hard way. Busting in on my parents. Having them explain to me what I saw. Just a younger, dumb, curious version of me busts in there like, hey mom, like, who's that guy? Why is dad videotaping it? Like, you don't understand what's going on. You just want your mom to be okay. You're worried. Oh no! Was mommy stung by the jellyfish? And from earlier, the jellyfish was earlier, and we brought it back here. This happens to me again, audience. This time, I'm 20 years old. I'm home from college. Middle of the week, I thought my parents were at work, and I was wrong. It happens. But busting in on your parents is a lot like the chicken pox. Because the later in life that happens, the more likely it is to kill you. You're super nice people. I'm glad you came to the show. I'm not going to ruin your Thursday night. Being all gross and graphic and telling you what I saw when I walked in on my parents. But I will tell you this. I don't kiss my mom goodnight anymore. Figure it out. I'm not going to say it in the microphone. And I don't need you driving home judging me like, what are you kissing mom goodnight? Get that. If you're drinking alcohol tonight, I don't care if you're irresponsible with it. I'm jealous of you. Because I quit drinking forever when I was 22 years old. And that was the worst decision of my life. Because I am always sober. And now if something sucks, I'm like, great! I'll remember this. Yeah, vividly. Other people are going to ask me what happens. Nobody's proud of an adult that doesn't drink alcohol. Nobody finds out I don't drink alcohol and goes, oh, you don't drink alcohol. That's amazing. I'm so proud of you. This is what they're just like, oh, you don't drink alcohol. You should drive us everywhere all the time. Yeah. Bring your keys just in case. And I do it sometimes. Sometimes I drive my friends when we all want to go out because I want them to be safe. But if you agree to be the designated driver, You don't just drive your car. You're not just a chauffeur. You're also the president of a search party. You gotta gather these bastards up at the end of the night. They just ruin all their fun. They're having a good time. You gotta make them leave. They don't want to leave. They want to stay. Like, no, I came here to get laid. I'm gonna get laid. And I gotta be like, you're not gonna get laid. You're gonna get Taco Bell. Get your ass outside. Now you gotta sit in the middle because you said dumb stuff when you were inside. My job's not even over after I'm nice enough to take it to the Taco Bell. Because they will yell at me from the back seat. You gotta go back. Taco Bell messed up my order. Watch me say this into a microphone. Taco Bell has never once messed up your order. Now, they might have shaped it different or stuck it in the wrong wrapper. Eat it anyways. It was close, I promise. There's 5 ingredients in that whole damn building. No matter what you yelled in that speaker, almost made it in your bag. You're like, hey, I ordered a chenchurita. This looks like an enchilada. It might be, man. I don't know. What to tell you. Other than that is not food in any country or culture. Those are made up words. If you're that mad, take your hand and shape it into something you're willing to eat. Stuff it in your face. You'll get them next time. Sizes. Taco Bell should just have sizes up there, not made up words. You know how hungry you are, and you know how much money you're willing to spend. You should just be able to pull up and be like, I would like 1 large Taco Bell. That's what I would like. Maybe a duffel bag of your mild sauce if you don't know. College was wild. I knew I would never be a moderate drinker because the first night of college, my roommate and I wanted to celebrate, so we split a 30-pack. The 2 of us split a 30-pack of Old Milwaukee Best Light beer. Yeah. Had to do it because we only had like $4 between the 2 of us. But when I went to college, in the late 1900s, you got 30 beers, damn it. It did not go well for us. College was wild in general. Like, I did sex in college. I was very proud of that. Very thankful for the opportunity. But college is like the major leagues of doing sex. Like, that's where you're like, you want to do a good job, get your name out there, right? You know what I mean? Get a good reputation. Here's the problem. First time woman had a lot more experience than I did. I'm just here. I'm some freshman, and she's a senior citizen, right? And that's older than you think it's going to be, but like also, you got to pass that English class somehow. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Got in there pretty good. Got a C+. She gave me a C+, and a C is average. I got a plus. Don't shake your heads at me. I eventually grew up. Wasn't a boy anymore, became a man. And life-changing moment, January 29th, 2016, I got married, audience. Thank you. I say the whole date slow and dramatic and drawn out because sometimes the audience will clap for me, which I appreciate. But more importantly, if I say it 200 times a year, I won't forget the date. That's my secret. We got married near the end of January. By February, she knows I'm going to be in her life for a pretty long time because we went into the Verizon store, got put on the same cell phone plan, and that's how you commit to a woman nowadays. Sure, you marry her, you tell God that you'll love her till one of you dies. Verizon is going to make you sign some shit. You're like, I can't leave this woman. That'll be a mild inconvenience. I was afraid of the marriage math. 50%. That's half. You can look that up. You don't have to take my word for it. Half of all marriages end in a divorce. Do you know what the other half of marriages end in? A death, and that's it. A divorce and a death are your only ways out. There's more ways out of a street gang than a marriage. And I married a Latina woman, so one of those options is not on the table for me. It's death or fake my death. 50%. Man. So marriage is kind of like life's real version of a coin flip. I think the priest should just do that before he announces it. Be like, I now pronounce you guys. Hold on. Let me fetch the holy quarter. No way. Not you guys, not at all. But I just saved you 9 years. You should be grateful for that. My wife's a lovely woman. Plus a sleeper. Knees, elbows, all that. One time she just hammer fist punched me right in the face. And I asked her about it the next morning. She's like, oh, I was sleeping. Obviously, you were sleeping. But like your eyes were open and it looked like you aimed for my face. I'm not saying I didn't deserve it, but you did it eventually. We're coming up on a decade. Very happy about that, where we still love each other immensely after a decade. Yeah, that's awesome. But at a decade is where, you get to that point where, you're laying in bed with your spouse, you look over at them, and you're like, oh, I still really love to shove a pillow in your face. Not hard. You don't want to hurt them. But hard enough to where they wake up the next day like, I had the weirdest dream. And you're like, was there a pillow in your face? Because that's going to be a reoccurring dream for you if you would gotta stop burning dinner. She has a daughter from a previous marriage. So as soon as I got married, I became the parent to a teenage girl. Do you know how I know that's a difficult job? Because my wife tried to talk me out of doing it. She's like, are you sure? It's a really hard job. I go, lay it on me. What's it like to have a teenager? Well, first, we gotta give them everything. Rides, spending money, a place to live, food, clothes. You do everything for them, and they don't give a shit about you at all. You will provide everything they need to live and thrive, and they'll never show you an ounce of gratitude or appreciation. Can you handle that type of relationship? And I was like, well, I used to own a cat, so yeah, let me do this. Marcy, the street cat, trained me for a teenage girl. You make her mad, she pees in your shoe. I get it. Yeah, right? When we moved, I didn't mention this at the beginning, but I came up, I lived in Chicago my whole life, and that's where I met my wife and everything. We decided to move down to Florida. And when we moved to Florida, the girl, the teenage girl, she's sweet, but she's a little shy. So my wife said, hey, you should help her make some new friends down here in Florida. And then I kind of had to explain to my wife, you can't help like a 14-year-old girl make new friends when you're a grown man adult. Like, what do I do? Just yell at a girl outside, hey girl, how old are you? Don't do that like ever, right? Because they have phones, they call the police, which they should. Not a cop shows up, you don't understand. Look, I have a different 14-year-old girl back at my house, and I was gonna, oh my gosh, go to jail. We'll follow you to jail, is what I'll do. She grew up and graduated high school. They threw a big party with all their friends. And at this high school graduation party, they all had pot brownies. Because those are so cool. If you know what you're doing. You should eat a small piece of the brownie and see what happens to your body. And then if you want more, have a little more. Not these kids. They ate them like dessert brownies. Just scarfed them down, and they got so high, so fast, the police had to show up. Because they called the police. Our daughter called the police on herself and all of her friends. We got to pick her up. It's embarrassing. On the way to get her, we're mad, but we're torn. Because we're kind of proud of her. Because she got herself out of a sticky situation. But also, we didn't raise no snitch. We try to talk to her, but she's out of it. She doesn't really understand what's going on. So we're going to let her get home and sleep it off and talk to her in the morning. And that's what we do. We let her get home, sleep it off. We wake her up the next morning, audience. The next morning, she's still high. Still high the next morning. We're like, all right, who sold you the brownies? And she's like, I don't want to get anybody in trouble. You're still high the next morning. This is so far past getting somebody in trouble. We would like to buy some of these brownies. Like, you're an adult member of our family. You don't go around your source. I did have a bachelor party before I got married. But I told you at the beginning, I don't drink alcohol. Every single friend of mine knows I don't drink alcohol. I was the designated driver at my own bachelor party. I wanted to go like a baseball game or something like that. But like, nah, strip club. Even though you don't drink, we're still going to a strip club, which kind of proves your bachelor party has nothing to do with you at all. That's their party, and you're just the alibi for the weird stuff they want to do. They're just looking at me like, you're lucky we invited you to this party. We could have just called you when it was over to pick us up. I have a couple of issues with the strip clubs. I know it's a big industry here in Florida. Just 2 issues. One, I don't want to sound like some conspiracy theorist standing up here with like a tinfoil hat saying wild things like, ooh, the earth is round. But I think, audience, I think the women who work at these strip clubs lie to you. Yeah, I do. They can't all be in nursing school, damn it. That is statistically improbable. All of them? But if they are, I'm a pretty big contributor to the nursing school scholarship program. So if you ever had a good nurse save your life, I might have paid her tuition, $1 at a time. So I just love the idea of running into the same woman at the 2 different things. You're like, oh, hey, I remember you. Change your name. The other issue is just a timing issue. I'm busy most weekends. We do most of our shows like tonight, like a Thursday through. I know I got 2. I only could get 2 out of that. A Thursday. So we had to have my bachelor party when I was home, and we could all get together. So we had my bachelor party at a strip club on a Tuesday. And I don't know if you've ever been out to the old strip club on a Tuesday night. That's not the starting lineup. You're very deep into the bench on a Tuesday night. You might even see like a developmental player up there towards the end, getting her reps in and holding her craft. The main event of a bachelor party strip club experience is your friends will pay one of the women money and she will bring you up on the stage. And she'll embarrass you in front of everybody in the room. But the woman my friends paid all this money to wasn't super pretty. And it's not my friend's fault because they didn't have a lot to choose from. And it's not the woman's fault. She's working as hard as she can at a strip club on a damn Tuesday. We don't know her story. Maybe God. Maybe God made her not very pretty. But I'm sure meth also made her not very pretty. And I think the meth had a lot more to do with this. She had a big drug problem, but she wasn't ashamed of it. She knew who she was. It was part of her soul. She leaned into it, had some fun. She chose Crystal for her stage stripper. Wasn't Crystal meth? That was stupid, but I took a chance. So now Crystal, the ugly stripper, and some of her teeth take me up onto the stage. Yeah, some. She did drugs, guys. It's dangerous. All these judgy faces. Ew. She was missing half of her teeth? Yeah. She was missing half of her teeth. But I am more of a mouth half full kind of guy. All right? She had the other half. And it distracted me from her pretty big penis, audience. That's We don't fire women when they got a penis anymore. You sit in a chair and you take that nice lady's penis in your ribs like a real man. You're like, hey, what's that? What's that in my rib? What am I feeling? Progress. That's what that is. That is a couple inches of progress between your fourth and probably fifth rib. Hey, wear a t-shirt for a little while, guys, after this party, because if somebody sees the bruises, they'll get curious. Ask you reasonable questions like, hey, did somebody punch you in your rib? And were they holding a mushroom? All right, and you're like, no. We had a bachelor party, lady had a wiener, got a little weird, not a big deal. And he's like, oh, you must have went on Tuesday. You went on Tuesday? Yeah. Crystal got wiener, you gotta watch out for her. So now I'm just sitting in a chair, and the lady walks up to me, and she's gonna tell me what's gonna happen, kind of leans in, gets her drug teeth pretty close to my face, and she's like, hey, this is your party. Lot of air coming towards my face with that clean party. I could definitely smell her breath in my ear. Yeah, guys, her breath stank. I could hear it. This is your party. No rules. When I dance on your lap right now, I'm going to let you put your hands wherever you want. And then I was like, all right, go. Right? Because she's ugly, you gotta cover the eyes. Maybe the ear too, right? You gotta cover the ear because she stank a little bit. Look, audience. It's not my fault I'm a moron. We don't discourage morons from speaking anymore. Do you remember a few years ago when kids were eating actual laundry detergent on the internet and none of us were like, hey, let's go help these kids? No, we made fun of them and shared the videos. That's because everybody thinks that everybody else younger than them has ruined society and ruined America, and we're all right, correct? Here's how I know. I'm in my mid-40s, and this is what my generation contributed to society, because it's been on the entire time I've been an adult. There's a television show where a woman can go on TV, and they will tell her who the true father of her baby is. It's called the Maury Povich Talk Show. It's been running for 25 years. Now, if you've never seen the Maury Povich Talk Show because you got a boat or a job or someone who loves you at your house, don't worry. I'm going to catch you up on 25 years in under a minute. 5 days a week for 25 years, a woman will bring a baby on television. She's not 100% sure who the father of this baby is. So the nice people at the Maury Povich Show will fly every guy from her neighborhood out to the show. They'll run a DNA test and they'll sort it out. Here's what I don't like about the show. That show's only designed to embarrass the woman. That show's only designed to hold the woman only accountable. Because they bring her out first. And they tell her, ooh, you slept with a couple of men. That's irresponsible. You're a hoe, or you're a slut. But you know damn well any man they flew out probably slept with twice as many women back home. But men get away with it when it comes to sleeping around, and we hold the women accountable only. Who says that's a bullshit double standard? Right? Yeah. Right. You see that? That's how you find the whores in an audience. I tricked you. I got you. Ever since I was like, I'm a moron, I was setting that whole thing up because you got to know your audience. And you got to know if there's whores in the audience, right? And you can't just have a microphone and be like, are there any whores in the audience? Clap and raise their hand. You got to trick them. That's why it's called turning tricks. I don't need that last part. Now that I do live here in Florida, I've noticed something about myself. I'm willing to help a person in need, based mostly on whether or not I like their sign. And not like the astrological sign, the physical sign they're holding in their hands. If you entertain me with that, I'm in. A guy had a sign, and it said, "We need money for gas." And a woman with him had a big old red gas can. And that checks out. So I pull up on him, "Hey guys, I love what you're doing here. Want to be a part of it. But I don't have any cash on me. But what I will do is take this can to the station, and I'll use my credit card to fill it up, and I'll bring it back to you." And I was expecting him to be like, "Thank you. That's exactly what we're trying to do here." But no, audience. He laughs right at my face. "Yeah, right. We ride with our gas can." Now, I didn't have the heart to break it to him, that I'm not really ready to take a risk on 2 murderers in a gas can in my back seat. So I tell this guy, "Hey man, while I'm getting your gas, you can still be here with your sign getting money. You'll get gas and money same time." I just doubled the efficiency of this whole operation. He likes it, gives me the gas can. I start driving it towards the gas station. And that, audience, is the story of how I got a new gas can. I'm joking, I'm so sorry. I had to. These people had nothing, and now they have less. I live in Florida now. I've got to build up my hurricane kit. I don't have time. We're right at the point of the show where if this bit goes bad, I can still dig myself out of it. A lot of my friends are afraid now to share any opinions on issues on stage. They tell me, "Brian, if I do something semi-political or I share an opinion and I say the wrong thing, I might piss off half the audience." And I tell my friends, "Hey, if you're sharing your opinions and they only piss off half the audience, you're not having enough fun while you're on stage." So what I would like to do right now is share some of my opinions, guaranteed to piss off the entire audience. No matter what you believe in, you're going to be angry. And then, because I'm a professional, after I've got you at full anger, I'll do some adorable jokes to win your hearts back. We're about to go on an emotional roller coaster. For my first political humor, all you need to know is that I do have a second-generation Mexican wife. And a lot of her family was born on the border of Texas. That's all you need to know. I wouldn't clap just yet. Wait it out, see how you feel. Past election, got tense. I didn't know who I was going to vote for. I was trying to take in all the information. My wife says, "Are you going to vote for the woman? You're going to vote for the woman that shows our daughter anything is possible for her? Or are you going to vote for the man who might try to deport half of my family?" And I said, "Hey, you are not making this any easier." Yeah, a lot of them live with us now. They're starting to cost me money. They got to go. I knew I could not vote for Donald Trump. Not after everything that happened on January 6th. Because, apparently, when I stormed the Capitol, that was a felony. Yeah. It's good to be out, though. It is. It's good to be out. Pardon me. Some people don't believe that there's a gap in wages between men and women. But it's still there some places. Sometimes, for every $1 a man makes doing a job, a woman might only get 70 cents doing the same thing. It's not fair. We got to fight to make it fair. Because a woman, she's only useless 1 week out of the month. That's 25% of the time. She should get 75 cents on every dollar. You got to fight for her nickel, audience. Total joke, sorry. Total joke. Only kidding. I wish you could see the women's faces, though, during that show. There are some pissed off looks on your faces. And I'm never sure if the women are pissed off because the whole wage gap thing, or just because there's too much math in what I'm saying and they don't understand it. But either way, we did it. We got there. everybody's mad. If you had something, you would just throw it at me right now. But you'll probably miss because you're a girl. And now the trick's over. I tricked you. There was one more. I promise the second part. I'm not just going to come up here and make you angry. I need to make you have a full heart of love again. So the next couple jokes, very adorable humor, guaranteed to get you back on my side. My first joke in my road to redemption has a small dog in it. Right? Yeah. That's how cool dogs are. You're like, this guy's a piece of shit, but dogs are cool. I'm going to hear him out. I got a small dog named Licorice. Licorice, a pug. I don't know if you know what a pug is. It's a very small dog. He got like a smashed-in face and a curly tail. He can't really see or breathe or anything like that. And all day he just bumps into stuff and he pees a little because it scares him. How cute was that? Let's get you all the way. Let's get you all the way. My favorite place, audience, my favorite place in the whole world to fart, elevator. Not when it's full, I'm not an animal. But there is a perfect time to fart in an elevator. Some of you say, sure, as you leave the elevator. I respectfully disagree. Because if you fart as you leave the elevator, you don't even get to enjoy the reaction on their faces. You just wasted a fart. That's the tree in the forest of your farts. Here's the perfect time to fart in an elevator. You ever been by yourself in an elevator about to go up? Ooh, I've got a solo ride. But then as the doors close, some psycho runs out of nowhere and he sticks his arm in the door. Now you gotta ride with him. As soon as the doors close and you start to move, you look right at his stupid face and you fart as loud as you can. Make eye contact, yell at him. Be like, don't sniff around, looking confused. There's two of us in here. You know it wasn't you. Do this thing where you wave a fart at a guy's face. I'll guarantee you the next time that prick is late for the elevator, he'll run towards it, right? With his arm, but then he'll remember you and be like, I better wait for the next one. Because that fart guy might be in there. Look, audience. I'm not going to stand up here on the stage 1 foot off the ground and throw my success in your faces. But I do live in a duplex, all right, damn it? That is duplexes. I don't even know if you speak French here. The bottom plex, the old lady lives there by herself. Penthouse, top plex, I live there with my wife and family. 2 garbage cans go out and I take them both because I'm a nice guy. But the woman downstairs goes to our garbage. And not opens it up and realizes it's not hers and closes it. She goes through our garbage. How do I know she goes through the garbage? Because I spy on her going through the garbage from the window. And I don't know which one of those is creepier. Her going through the garbage or me spying on her going through the garbage. But it's got to stop. I was going to throw something real weird in the garbage to freak her out. Here's what I was going to do. I was going to take a picture of her going through the garbage, print it out and put that on top of the garbage. But then I realized what year it is and nobody knows how to print out a picture anymore, so I would have to hand draw it, stick figures, so I just like, I'll skip that part. The whole point is, what she's doing is weird. But we all do weird things, and most of it involves our safety. A lot of you will go home tonight, and before you go to bed, you'll shut the front door, and you'll lock it, because that makes you feel safe. But do you think a burglar has ever made it that far into the crime and went, oh shit, it's locked? I've changed my mind. Here's my dumb security blanket. I'm going to do it after this show. Every time I go out to my car and it's dark, before I drive anywhere, I take this right hand and I check my back seat for murderers. And the floor. They hide in the floor sometimes. Look, I don't know the statistics in America, but I'm guessing 0. 0 murders have ever been stopped because the guy reached back before he took off driving. What happens if they end up doing this? It's not a drill. Just going through the motions, reaching back. it's a guy. There's a guy back there. What's my play? Like, no, man, you were going to kill me. And he's like, yeah, man, I was going to kill you. But you did the reach back thing first, so I'm going to send my way out. That's best case scenario. I noticed some of the checks going out, and this is unprofessional, but I'm going to do it anyway. Make sure you take care of the servers. They're embarrassed to admit this, but one of them is actually trying to save up money, and and it's their birthday. That's what we do. We hire people who have January 21st birthdays, give them a round of applause, and take a while with you. Make sure you take care. That's my only point. Look, it's not all good news. It's not all fun and games up here as a comedian. I got to share something with you. I, comedian Brian Aldridge, was born with and still suffer from a disease that I've never been able to find a cure. Guys, I suffer from toxic masculinity. Do you know how I found out? Internet article. And as I read the internet article, I'm shaking with anger. Like, this is bullshit. Kind of proving the article right. But a lot of us have toxic masculinity. We make life harder than it has to be for no reason. If I were building a case for court, here's Exhibit A. Public restrooms. Baseball game, concert. It's a lonely, stressful place for a man. And we made the rules, it could have been anything. If a woman needs to go to the bathroom, she bring her friend. If there's a line, they talk while there's a line to pass the time. Once they're in there, it's a supportive environment. They're hyping each other up, giving compliments. I'm jealous of the women's bathroom environment. Because when you're a man and it's your turn to pee, you gotta look straight ahead and not make a sound. And you gotta look straight ahead. You can't even look away, right? Because if you look away, you're not guarding your wiener. That guy's gonna look right at your wiener. You gotta use that peripheral vision to guard your wiener. But still, kinda try to look at the guy's wiener next to you. It's lonely and stressful. We made the rules. Could have been anything. I'm jealous of the women. I would love to be at a table with my friends and stand up and be like, I'm taking a piss. Who's coming with? I want to talk if there's a line. I want to talk at the urinal, damn it. Be like, hey man, is that the new Apple Watch? But you can't, right? Because that's where he's holding his penis. There's pressure on men to sleep around. There is. We make fun of each other if we pass up an opportunity. Women look out for each other and reward each other socially for being selective. There's a group of women out having fun. One woman has too much to drink, starts talking to some guy. If her friends think she'll regret it, they'll stop her from doing it. I've seen it. They'll just drag her away. They'll just drag her away and be like, oh my God, we can't let her sleep with the comedian. It's a good move. Bunch of guys out getting drunk. One guy starts chanting up some goblin. Are his buddies going to rally together to make fun of his ass at best? Maybe snap a picture and tag him on the internet so he almost forgets it and then it shows up in his memories. And he's like, oh, dang it, I used to love January 6th, not anymore. It's 2 references to January 6th. Men physically and psychologically torture each other. We call it pranks, but it's torture. And if you can sneak a little bit of homosexuality into your prank, it's now the funniest thing that's ever happened. Because we don't grow up. My friends told me to meet them somewhere. And they didn't show up. That is a solid 7 out of 10 prank. But they thought it was the funniest thing that ever happened because they had me meet them at one of those bars that was just for fellas. They're like, hey, Aldridge, meet us at Pounders at 9 o'clock. Pounders is a sneaky name for a gay bar. You go to Pounders, like, oh, it's probably called Pounders because everybody here pounding beers. And then you get there and you're like, oh, that is not what they're pounding beer. I get there, all guys, I'm like, whatever, I'm early. I'll wait it out, see my buddies show up. I told you at the beginning, I'm from Chicago. That's where I was living my whole life, Chicago. I overhear a couple guys talking, nice guys. They're like, ooh, we love the Bears. And I was like, oh shit, I love the Bears too. Let me get in on this. And then we were talking about different Bears. So I'm talking about football, and they're talking about big old fat, hairy homosexual guys. They're like, you sorted it out. And you laugh and have some fun, and then you leave before you try to kiss one of them. As soon as I found out it was a gay bar, I left. Because I want to respect their space. And I'm not homophobic, but I am really bad with peer pressure. I buy the extended warranty. I can be talked into some stuff. I would just hate to stick around too long, do something neither one of us enjoys. And poor guy's all frustrated, like, how are you so bad at this? And I'm just like, the angle is different. I okay, I stand behind you. Not really need that last part, did it? Some people, like, when you're a comedian, they'll just kind of ask you. It's just a polite, nice question. They're like, oh, hey, where do you find inspiration? Like, who did you think was the funny? And it'll usually be another comedian that inspired a comedian. Not me, my dad. My dad was and is the funniest guy I ever knew growing up. But unfortunately, for my dad, he had kids very young. I'm the second kid he had, and he was 19 when he had me. So all of his awesome prime humor was wasted on like 6 and 7-year-olds. That's what it is. Poor guy. Funny too. Like I live in Chicago. We're driving in a car, the bench seat type car, and I'm front seat, and we're at a red light, and a woman on a bicycle rides past us. I'm 7, and my dad looks, and he's like, hey, Brian, that woman is breaking the law. And I was like, oh, is riding the bike in that lane breaking the law? I don't know what's going on at all. And then he nails it. He hits the punchline. He goes, it's illegal to peddle pussy. And that is a great joke. Wasted on a 7-year-old. Do you understand how much I gotta know at 7 for that to be funny? I gotta know that prostitution is a thing and that it's illegal. I gotta know that peddle also means sell. And then I gotta know what the word pussy means. Now I was 7, I had heard that word before, but I just thought it was the word for the girl's penis at that time. Yeah, I was ahead of my time. Yeah. I'm glad he did it though, right? Because I'm still nostalgic. Right? That was almost 40 years ago. And to this day, whenever I see a woman on a bicycle or a prostitute, I think of my dad. The joke should end there. But I wrote that joke, and I worked on that joke, and I got that joke just how I wanted it. And then I told my dad, because I thought he would think it's neat, that I put him in my act. And I tell him the whole story, and he goes, yeah, that happened, or that did happen. But you were in college when that happened. And then you run it back, and I was like, oh, that makes way more sense. Oh, he's going to sue me for sure. My parents did fine financially, yet we still, as kids, grew up poor. Because my mom was super careful with money. And not like regular mom careful with money, like buying like puffs of cocoa or Lieutenant Crunch cereal or nothing like that. She wanted to save money on my school's sports physical. A lot of kids just took their family doctor for my mom. She heard about a guy doing it for $8. Like an old retired doctor that just wanted to stay in the game a little bit. This was 1993, so you found him in a phone book. You call him up and you're like, hello, and he's like, Dr. Schroka's office. And I don't mind saying Dr. Schroka's office because I'm sure he's dead. Because he was almost dead in 1993. You show up in his doctor's office, it's just his house, and you're in the living room, me and my mom in the living room, that's the waiting room, and then he just takes me by himself to another room in his house, and everybody thought that was okay. Did I mention he's working a big old cigar in one of his hands? He was. It was the 90s. Smoking wasn't bad yet. And so he's got a cigar working, and he's doing the stethoscope thing, feeling around. Here's the problem. I didn't want to correct him, though, because like I'm only not a doctor by $8 compared to this guy. But he's feeling around. Doesn't even have the other end in his ears. You know what I mean? He's just like, whatever, man. I'm just here for the signature at this point. This is not an urban legend. Does everyone understand what has to happen for a male sports physical? We all know what's going to go on next. This is the weirdest way we do it, but to check for a hernia, another human being holds onto your testicles and has you cough. I don't know what they're looking for, but that's the current technology to do this. So we get to business. I take my pants down. He grabs a hold. And then he coughs. Yeah! The wrong man coughs, damn it! And you're like, did he cover his mouth? How could he? He had a cigar in one hand and a little cigar in the other hand. The best part is, I have to fill out the card because his hand is too shaky. And I'm like, I hope he had Parkinson's disease, or that was the weirdest exam. He does sign it with a rubber stamp or like an auto pen, like, Joe Biden, what's going on? No. I just told Jander I would throw that in there. I don't know why I did that. He stamps it, and then the story is over. Now, I'm not saying this man was a pedophile. But he's in their Hall of Fame. They talk about him, and like they just are like, oh my God, this guy, he ain't have to buy a white van or nothing like that. The parents brought him over to his house and gave him $8. It was like, he's their hero. Gonna cut that whole last part out of it is what I'm gonna do, audience. Just was working on that one right now, and then see where I should have stopped. There was a clear ending point, and you're like, nah, one more. Nah, didn't need that. They just got, we're like, I get it. You don't have to hammer it all the way home. Whenever people find out I'm from Chicago, they always ask me the same thing. They're like, hey, have you ever been robbed? That's what they want to know. They're like, hey, you ever been robbed? Because that's like the, reputation of the city. And I don't have a good robbery story, but I got a couple close ones that they seem to like. Like one time, I was trying to get robbed, and the guy didn't have a gun. He just came up, he's like, give me all your money. And I was like, do you even have a gun? And he's like, I don't need a gun to get your money. And I was like, hey man, like, I don't want to tell you how to do your job, but if you want my money, you better come back with a gun and not that bullshit with your finger in a sweatshirt. I know the difference. One guy was just trying to, he was getting angrier and angrier. He was like, money, money, money. And I just thought he didn't speak English. So I just thought he was a beggar. Because all he knew was money, money, money. I'm like, no. And he's getting madder and madder. And look, I'm not going to stand up here on my soapbox and say, like, if you want to live in this country, you better learn English. But there are some jobs. There are some jobs out there you're going to want to know English, because him not knowing English turned this whole robbery into a negotiation. Closest I ever came. Chicago has an elevated train system. And you can see who's going to come onto the train from the street. And it's 11:57, last train out. I'm up there by myself. And then I'm like, I hope nobody's scared. It comes up. And as that thought enters my mind, everything I'm afraid of starts walking up the stairs. The guy's bigger than me, taller than me. He got a bandana. I don't know why, but bandana scared me. He got scars on his face, tattoos. He had tattoos on his face. 3 eye drops. I know that's bad. At least 3 confrontations he had didn't go the other person's way. Then he just walks up and stands right next to me. Doesn't say anything. I would have rather him come in and hollering like, "What's up, mama?" That would have been better, because now I got to be the one that breaks the ice. And I just kind of look up at him and I'm like, "Hey man, I don't have any cash on me." And he's like, "Why would you tell me you don't have any cash? Did you think I was going to try to rob you?" And I was like, were you going to try to rob me? And he's like, "Yeah, man, I was going to try to rob, but nobody carried no cash on him anymore." And now I switch over. I'm on his side right away. I'm like, "I know, right? And even if you steal a credit card, they turn it off, and a phone's basically a brick." And he goes, "Yeah, man, it's tough to be a robber." You want to know the weirdest part? People lie sometimes. They say they don't have any cash, but they got cash. And I was like, "Oh, no way, man." Now I got to prove to this guy, I'm not about that bullshit. So we're going to come up with a solution. I got a pair of track pants on. I got 2 hands. He got 2 hands. We're going to see which combination of these 2 hands are going to search these pockets. Here's what we land on. He is going to search my pockets. One hand in each pocket at the same time. Standing behind me. Why behind me? Because he said, I don't want to mess up my left and right. And it made sense at the time, audience. But I'm going to tell you right now, if you're ever standing on an elevated train platform at like 11:57 p.m. with a stranger's hands in your pockets, you'll rethink every decision that brought you to that place. Look, how did we get here? Look, audience, I don't know the duration of time he was standing behind me, but after a little while, it felt too long. You understand what I'm saying? I said, it felt too long. I had time to change my mind from like, oh man, I hope he's unarmed, to that better be a gun. I'm so sorry for that, audience. That's just how I am, guys. I think it's, I don't know if they're looking back. Has that ever gotten your checks and stuff? I saw them go by, but then I don't have ADD, but I saw them go by and I'm like, all right, mark it off, finish up in 5 to 7 minutes. And then I just forgot how long ago that was. But everyone looks ready. I was, well, I don't keep going. I got a whole closing thing that I got to do. Just keep going. Couple of quick things before I leave. One, how about it for Jander? He did a great job back there. Fantastic. Jander on a Thursday night. She said Jander on a Thursday night. We got 3 out of it, Jander. It was just 2 days ago. He hit my dog with his car. And, that son of a bitch. Couple of quick things. One, look, we had some fun with that whole wage gap thing, but you kind of know that I'm not really trying to preach to you my beliefs or anything like that, because that's not what I do. A lot of people will use their platform to tell you how you're supposed to feel about something. That's not what I do. I'm a man of action. When I see something that I want to change, I do something about it. I don't talk about it. Earlier, I'm talking about these brave women working on stage, trying to get into the medical field. And I've done something to help them. I've printed out a bunch of these stickers. I don't know if you can see it from the stage, just a silhouette of a girl on stage. And the caption that reads, Nursing School Scholarship Program, Donor. So I set up a table mostly to say goodbye as you're leaving, but also if you want to donate to this, because the money makes it back into the fund. Any amount of money you give me makes you a donor, and you take a sticker with you. The other thing, social media. Social media is how we build fan bases nowadays. It's very important. I've done a pretty good job, not a great job. Across all of my platforms, I got about 100 and something thousand followers. I've got a video on there that has 10.4 million views, so if you all go home and watch it, it'll have 10.4 and 80 views. And what I'm saying is I don't need any of you, is what I'm saying. But I would love to have all of you as new fans. So I do have the stickers, and I have cards. I have cards that I pass out after the show that have all my social media, email, and all that, so you can get a hold of me, or just watch me on social media if you're. And as I'm begging you all to follow me on the social media, I do realize we got here in a bit of a hurry, and I did forget the business cards in my car. But if you liked what you saw up here tonight, take a chance. Come out to the car. I'm in the lot over there. Hey, everybody, thank you so much for coming out on a Wednesday night. That's going to be all for us. We'll be right there. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.